Hi, it's Nell, and today it's all about lucky bamboo. Here are 22 things to know about growing and caring for lucky bamboo. And these are all things I've learned from experience. I've been growing lucky bamboo for a while. Now, I've already done a post about growing lucky bamboo, but this sort of expands on it. And also, I've gotten a few questions on the blog and video about lucky bamboo, and I thought I would answer them in this video. And as you can see, Mr. Riley Cat has come out to join us on the porch for the afternoon, enjoying all the bugs flying around and the birds and everything else. Anyway, this video is also an excuse to show off my new lotus bamboo. It's also called rose bamboo. I've only seen it a couple times, once in Chinatown in San Francisco and once in Chinatown in LA. And I just found it here in Tucson. I'll just give you a quick close-up on it so you can see. It is actually a Dracaena Janet Craig compacta grown on these long fat canes. Number one, lucky bamboo is billed as a low light plant. I think it does better in low to medium light. I have it in low to medium, maybe medium light, and that seems to be the sweet spot for me. Just remember, low light is not no light. Two, keep it out of any direct hot sun because it will burn. For instance, I'm in Tucson. I wouldn't even keep it in an east window in the summer here because it would just be too hot. In nature, it grows under the understory of taller plants, so no direct hot sun. So number three is in response to a question I got. Why is there a slimy funk in the water of my bamboo? And it's probably algae. If your lucky bamboo is growing in a clear glass container and it is exposed to sun and to warmer temps, algae forms. Algae needs light to form. So that's often why lucky bamboo, you see it grown in ceramic containers. Okay, we'll focus in on the lucky bamboo for a while, just for a change. Next, I'm also going to start saying next because I'm going to lose count. Changing the water. So that's one way to combat algae. I change the water every 1 to 2 months, and I clean out the vase. It also helps to keep any bacteria from building up, because remember, stagnant water can get funky, especially as the temperatures warm up. And in terms of fungus, I know they can get it, but I really can't tell you anything about that because mine have never gotten any fungus. Brown tips. If your lucky bamboo is getting brown tips, it could be due to the fluorides, the salts, and the chlorine in your water. If you're using tap water, it actually burns the roots, and then it causes the tips to brown out. So I use distilled water, and that works just fine for mine. So next is if you have small brown tips. I don't know if you can see these. There's some small brown tips on these. That is due to the dry air, and that just happens to a lot of houseplants. Next is the water level, how high you should keep it. And I keep mine usually in between here and here, and as you can see, the majority of the roots on mine are down here. So the higher up you keep the water, the higher up the roots will form. Now, I wouldn't keep it filled all the way up all the time. I've never done that, but I would think that it would eventually be subject to rot. Next is pot bound. Now, just because it's growing in water doesn't mean it won't get restricted in its container. I might have to put these in a wider vase at some point soon because the roots are getting quite extensive on this. I've had these for about 4 years, so I'm going to have to put it in a larger container soon. And that is also true, especially of the ones that are growing in shallow, small dishes. They will eventually need a larger dish. Next is longevity. The longest I've ever had one is about 5 years, just because I've moved or given it away. But this one, as I said, is 3 to 4 years old and it still looks fine. So next, this brings us to the fact that this plant does not grow in nature in water. It grows in soil. Who knows how it was brought into culture that way, but it is the most common way that you see Lucky Bamboo sold. Next is transferring from water to soil or soil to water. I have never done it, so I really can't tell you from experience. I can tell you that a friend, it was more of an acquaintance, did it, transferred it from water into soil. I do know that if you put it into soil, you're going to have to keep it on the moister side because it's been in water. So if you have ever done any transferring, just like the last point, let us know, because there are varying debates on which way it actually grows better. So for the long haul, I really can't say because I've always grown it in water. Next is this plant is not a bamboo. It's just called Lucky Bamboo. It is actually a Dracaena. It goes by Lucky Bamboo. I think it goes by Good Fortune plant, I think. But the botanic names are Dracaena sandriana or Dracaena bronii. So I'm zooming in a little closer for this next point, and this is in response to a question I got. If I cut this growth off, will the stalk grow taller? And the answer is no. The stalk is never going to grow taller. This part that has the foliage on it is what grows taller. Mine, when I bought them, were just little sprouts, and they've grown this much here. So this is how they grow after you buy them. Next is, but you can prune them to make them shorter. So if they're getting too tall for this space, you can cut them down, and then new sprouts, I could actually cut it there, and then new sprouts would form off of there. And next is a question, another question. How did I get it to grow in this spiral form? Because as you can see, it's a twisted form here. And I did not do it. The growers did that. The growers grow them in all different, I've seen them actually with a heart in the middle and all different kinds of crazy shape. Oh, and I'll put some pictures of some other forms that Lucky Bamboo are sold in the blog post. Next is, if you need to fertilize them, they do best with a special fertilizer, because they don't, especially if you're not growing it in soil, you don't use a fertilizer formulated for houseplants. This one is called Super Green, and it is especially formulated for Lucky Bamboo. And I was gifted this, so I've only used it one time, so I really can't tell you if it does anything fabulous. But if you're someone who likes to fertilize, this is what to use. And also do it once or twice a year at the most. No over fertilizing. And for the next point, which actually came as a question, I am so glad we have a Riley cat here to help us out. Well, he's too busy napping. Is Lucky Bamboo safe for pets? And I haven't been able to find anything specifically about Lucky Bamboo. I always consult the ASPC website. It does say that Dracaenas are toxic to pets, and because this is a Dracaena, I think it's safe to say that yes, it is toxic. And I will put a link in the blog post so you can see what the ASPCA says about it. Next is, this plant is prone to spider mite. And I have done a separate post and video on that. I will leave the link down below also in the blog post. But basically what I do is I take and I wash the leaves and the canes off every month to every month and a half to prevent it. Next is another question I've gotten, and that is the stalks on my lucky bamboo have turned yellow. This especially happens in the ones that are arrangements. Will it turn back to green? And the answer is no. Once it turns yellow, it will most likely dry out, turn brown, and die. So then the next point is what causes yellow stalks? And in my experience, it is because they have dried out. It happened to my lucky bamboo arrangement, the small one on the way from Santa Barbara to Tucson. It dried out, and then it dried out a couple times when I was traveling, and I lost probably about 5 stalks because it had dried out. A couple other reasons, it could be the high chlorine and salt and fluorides in your water, or it could be too much fertilizer. Those are the reasons that I know of. So number 21 is I find them to be extremely easy maintenance. Basically, this is how I take care of mine here in the desert, in the Arizona desert in Tucson. I give it good bright light, but no direct sun. I add distilled water every 3 to 10 days because it does tend to evaporate out, and that is, of course, depending on the temperatures. I spray off the canes about every month or so to keep the spider mites at bay. I change the water and clean the vase. Probably it's more like every 2 to 3 months. A little bit of buildup is okay, I think, just not too much. And that's about it. Oh yes, we do get summer rains here and the monsoons, and I will put my lucky bamboo out so that it gets some nice rain, and also that rainwater is the best water for it, and that's ideal. So I like to do that when the rains come. So the last thing I have to share with you has nothing to do with growing or care, and there's some kind of bug flying around me, but is that this plant is known to bring good luck and have good feng shui. Now, whether this is true or not, I'm not quite sure, but I believe it because I like the plant and I like the way it looks, and it's just a crazy plant. So I believe that it brings good luck. And this sits in our guest room. That's where I have it. And if you notice, there are 3 canes, and they signify good luck, wealth, and long life. And the long life could be the reason that my kitty Oscar, my other kitty who isn't out here, is almost 19. He's going to be 19 in a couple months. And he likes to spend a lot of time in the guest room. So maybe that has contributed to his long life. And also, as far as good luck, I adopted him when he was 10. So that was good luck for both of us, actually. And as for the wealth, I don't know. He just hasn't made me any money yet. So I'm just setting up to film another video, and Oscar came out. The kitty who's almost 19, the recipient of the good luck bestowed by the lucky bamboo. And he's doing just great, huh? Who's a good kitty, huh? And you know, I think that YouTube is just an excuse for us all to show off our pets. Okay, I tried to get through that as fast as possible, but I wanted to just share with you all the things that I know. And I'm also doing this video ahead of the blog post by about 2 or 3 weeks because I'm heading to San Francisco to work. So if I think of another point or two, I will put them in the blog post, but I think this is it. So be sure and check that post for more information. So I love my lucky bamboo, and I hope that you have found this video to be helpful. And please come back because I have a lot more videos coming your way. I thank you for all your likes and your subscribes. I really appreciate them. Now let's get out in our gardens or into our indoor gardens and make our worlds a more beautiful place. As always, I thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video. Good luck. Bye.